Dr. Mukhtar Mohammed is the head technical secretariat of the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, and he joins us virtually on the program this evening. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, for your time. I imagine that vaccine procurement is also one of the biggest concerns of the Steering Committee today. Would you say we have cracked that case just yet?
Thank you, and good evening, viewers. Certainly, yes, that is really an important issue, and as you rightly mentioned, it is really a source of concern. For now, we have promises, we have been monitoring what is going on globally, and we are trying to see how much vaccine we can leverage from the COVAX and also the African Union vaccine. However, in addition to this, we're also holding bilateral talks with the different countries. As you rightly mentioned, quoted the Minister of Health, we are discussing with countries that may have excess of the vaccines that they actually need, and to see how we can get those vaccines. But we're also talking bilaterally with other countries to see how they can help us to secure a deal with the manufacturing companies so that we can come up earlier, to be able to have vaccines that we can procure either directly as a country or to buy through, other mechanisms that are available. So that is it for now. Still, our fingers are crossed, but the discussions are still going on.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned procurement. Now, renowned professor of virology, Professor Tomori, is blaming this uncertainty on lack of early preparedness. He's also asking that the federal government summon courage and go out there to purchase these vaccines. Would you agree with him on that one?
Sorry, can you come again? Can you come again what you mentioned?
Well, I was referencing Professor Tomori's comments regarding the uncertainty, and he blamed this on lack of early preparedness. So he's asking the federal government to summon courage and go out there to purchase these vaccines. I wonder if you agree with his assessment of how we got here.
Well, so it is not really, this is not an issue of planning or getting your money. Even if you have the funds, the vaccine is just not available. We have reached a stage, in this pandemic where we have seen this huge global vaccine nationalism that has risen. We've seen countries amassing vaccines twice or three times more than their needs. It is just a frenzy that some countries, particularly the developed countries, went into because of the fear of unknown. So other countries, even if you have the funds, to procure these vaccines, it is just not available. So I will not agree that it is the procurement effort or the lack of planning, because these discussions have been on for a long time. Funds have been mobilized, by the Gavi and COVAX and others, and agreement has been reached with these manufacturing facilities. We know if not for what has happened, by now we would have received close to 30 million doses of additional Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. But because of what has happened globally and because of this huge demand in countries, they are making the companies to remit. So I don't agree that it's really an issue of money. It is now far beyond that, and that is why we are exploring vaccine diplomacy to be able to negotiate with the countries and to negotiate with the manufacturers so that we can have our own fair share of this commodity.
Clearly he believes that, we might stand a better chance if we just go out there and approach these manufacturers, as you mentioned. But regarding purchase and funds, I know that has been a major issue. Just how much are we putting into purchasing vaccines?
So the first and foremost, is to be able to secure the deal, to know how much vaccines you will be able to get at the prices. We have negotiated the price and we continue to negotiate the prices of the vaccines. We have a target of the number of vaccines, the quantity that we would like to have available in the country. And like I mentioned, we have various mechanisms, that we hope to use to get these vaccines available. One thing that is important very early in our plan is we do not want to procure vaccines or to obtain vaccines and then they expire on us. We have not used them. And therefore, we are looking at doses that can be easily mopped up, that can be utilized in the country. We've seen other African countries that have received even those smaller proportion of the vaccines. What has happened? They are not able to utilize them on time. They have expired on them. Some have either donated to other countries that could use them, and some had to actually ban them outright. So we are very cautious. We do not want to go into that frenzy and acquire a large amount of vaccine, that may not be utilized. So we'll continue to monitor the situation. We have seen the uptake of the 2 million doses in the country. It has not been as fast as we had expected because, this is the initial dose and we're just targeting the strategic leadership and the frontline health workers. That is something that we could have done in much earlier weeks. So, but it has been a little slow, and we really have to learn from that experience. We have actually one of the most efficient way of distributing these vaccines in Africa.
Well, Dr. Mukhtar Mohammed, thank you so much for that update, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you very much for having me.